Well, guys, this is going to be some unabashed, cringe-worthy autism. So, let us begin. The Democratic Republic of Dahaminguk, inoffensive centrist democracy. Okay, well, I already have something to say. How can you claim to be a liberal if you're using the word centrist in this particular subheader of your nation? Because when you say that, it makes me really fucking wonder whether or not you understand what being a centrist is. Because me being a centrist and Justin being a centrist, you kept calling me and Justin conservatives. Same thing with Damien. Damien's a centrist himself. But you call us conservatives because we don't agree with everything you say. My question is this: how can you define yourself as a centrist nation if you have like crazy ass hardcore left wing views that make no sense to have, period? At least some of them. Keep moving forward or be left behind. Okay, so what you're saying is everyone just has to follow you or they'll be left behind. It's good to see that you have such an open, free-spirited view of things that you essentially say, fuck you, because you don't want to go the way I want you to. Let's see. Region, Lazarus. Yeah, that's not a real region. I've looked that up. It's not a real region. It's a made-up fucking region. Influence, hatchling. Hatchling, like an alligator or a lizard or a snake, like hatched from an egg. Civil rights very good, economy frightening, political freedom good. Frightening is a word that's usually used to describe something that's very bad or instills fear. When someone is frightened, it's not because they're excited or happy, it's because they're legitimately fucking scared. The Democratic Republic of Dahaminguk is a colossal socially progressive nation renowned for its museums and concert halls, absence of drug laws, and punitive income tax rates. Absence of drug laws. Okay, so you're saying that someone can just shoot up black tar heroin in the middle of a concert hall, get fucked up, and like assault 6 or 7 people when they're fucked up on drugs. Instead of having like just legal weed and legal booze. It's everyone can get fucked up on whatever they want and then wonder why the fuck it is a bunch of crazy ass drug addicts running around breaking into people's houses and stealing shit to make more money. So they can then sell it to make more crack. Because needless to say, crackheads are very fucked up people. The compassionate population of 5.846 billion Deshis have some civil rights, but not too many. What do you mean some civil rights? But not too many. Well, what would you define as too many civil rights exactly? Like, what exactly is a civil right that you feel like they don't deserve? And these are people of the country you made up, fuckhead. Enjoying the freedom to spend their money however they like, to a point, and take part in free, open elections, although not too often. Okay, are we referring to not too often as in they're not allowed to go for elections very often, or not too often as though elections do not occur very frequently? Because a lot of the things you're saying don't sound great when we consider the crazy ass shit you say. The large government juggles the competing demand of education, administrators, and welfare. It meets to discuss matters of state in the capital city of Sudgame. The average income tax is 85.2%, and even higher for the wealthy. Dude, 85% of someone's monthly income would be enough to completely fuck them. I mean, think about it. If 85% of everything I make a month was taken from my paycheck, I wouldn't be able to pay for my car, I wouldn't be able to pay for my car insurance, and I wouldn't be able to pay my half of the bills. Like, I would be financially fucked. And it's hard to even imagine, like, an entire population of people living like that. It'd be a fucking Hooverville. The entire country would basically be like a one giant rundown shantytown, because no one would be able to afford anything. Like, the rich government cocksuckers would be the only ones being able to afford shit. Because they'd be the ones sucking all the money out of everyone. It's one thing to be greedy, it's another to request a livable wage. The frighteningly efficient Dahaminguk economy worth 665 trillion yunas a year is driven entirely by a combination of government and state-owned industry, with private enterprise illegal. So you mean private enterprise being forbidden or heavily discouraged? So what you're saying is fast food's not allowed in your country, Starbucks isn't allowed in your country. Pretty much any private corporation which has any interest at all would not be allowed in your country, which means you would not be allowed to sell iPhones or Androids or laptops. You wouldn't be allowed to really sell anything because these items would have to be sold through a private retailer, which in turn would break your private enterprise being illegal thing because those are branches outside of your country which would use their influence to sell their products. Quite frankly, I'm surprised you motherfuckers would have internet access, considering the fact that that itself would also be a private industry offering its services to the country, which again would not be allowed because private enterprise is illegal in your words. The industrial sector, which is quite specialized, is mostly made up of the information technology industry, okay, IT, with significant contributions from tourism, retail, and book publishing. Remind me again how the fuck book publishing will do jack shit for someone's governmental economy. Yeah, we allow like $30 for a book that no one fucking buys, and we wonder why the fuck it is that's just like blowing smoke into the air. Poof, no money for you, asshole. No money for you, fuck boy. From tourism. Dude, traveling from place to place and selling hand jobs is not the same thing as someone actually selling, like, postcards and photo albums and bobbleheads of a location. Retail? Just because you like shopping or buying things does not mean that you're a retail employee, nor does it mean that you're capable of selling anything to anyone. Average income is an impressive 113,894 yunas and distributed extremely evenly, with little difference between the richest and poorest citizens. So what you're saying is a person that works their ass off in a difficult factory job is still going to make the same as some worthless fucking cocksucker who's doing nothing with his life, basically kicking a can down the road. Yeah, that totally doesn't sound unfair and fucked up. Fuck those people. Citizens praise the weeds that overwhelm their narrow vegetable realm. Dahaminguk soft touch approach to diplomacy has made them known as the pushover of the region. Some paychecks only arrive every 12 to 24 weeks, and arms manufacturers and mild-mannered journalists have been outed as superheroes. Well, wait a minute. I thought you said you didn't like guns, you didn't like weapons, but then you're saying that arms manufacturers are superheroes. Another thing, if someone's only getting a paycheck every 12 to 24 weeks, that means like every 3 to 6 months. That sounds more like a Social Security income payment. Are you just passive-aggressively admitting that you're disabled and that you're collecting Social Security? Because if you are, just fucking admit it. Don't do this shit where you gotta hide behind it and make it some governmental deal, when really it's just you sucking the government's teat. Crime is totally unknown. By unknown, you mean unheard of, as in crime does not occur very often, if at all? Or do you mean unknown as in you make everything legal, ergo there's no crime because everything's legal? Making everything legal so there's no crime doesn't mean that crime does not occur. It just means that there's no way to actually report someone for committing a crime, you fucking moron. Dahaminguk's national animal is the cat, which frolics freely in the nation's many lush forests, and its national religion is Hathantha. You mean that religion that you named after someone, after stalking them religiously on their fucking Facebook before they found out you were a pedo and decided to fucking ghost your ass? More importantly, the national animal is the cat. You mean to tell me that a country in Asia, as you claim it is, does not have anything more interesting than a common house cat? Really? Okay. Dahaminguk is ranked 26,704th in the world and 1,588th in Lazarus for healthiest citizens, and 8.22 bananas ingested per day. Bananas? What are they, monkeys? We eat bananas a day! That kind of sounds fucked up, because it sounds like you're comparing your citizens to apes. Instead of saying the citizens primarily eat a vegan diet, it's the citizens eat bananas only. You might as well just say that. Like, the citizens have the same diet as chimpanzees. Might as well just fucking say that and get it the fuck over with instead of, like, just alluding to it. I mean, goddamn. Whew, shit. Alright, let's check out policies. Monarchy. The special statutes of a royal family is enshrined in law. Well, wait a minute. How can you say you want to be the prime minister when the prime minister is usually elected into power as opposed to being a king or a queen or a duke or a prince or a princess who's born into royalty and authority? Again, you're contradicting yourself again, you special sped. Devolution. A government power is substantially delegated to local authorities. Or delegated, goddamn. His lack of literacy is actually killing me. Proportional representation. Votes translate linearly to elected representations with no seats or electoral college. In other words, you don't want there to be an electoral college in this country, so if other people turn over the vote, you'll get fucked over and said get the fuck out of the office. Term limits. Elected representatives must leave office after a legally mandated amount of time. Like most countries. Society. Marriage equality. Citizens of the same sex can marry. Okay. I'm on board with that idea. Permanent marriage. Divorce is illegal. Fuck you. Fuck you. Well, what if some dude comes home and starts smacking the shit out of his wife? What if some dude violently rapes his wife? What if some dude, like, fucking beats the shit out of his partner every fucking day, whether it be his husband or his wife? Are they not allowed to leave and seek, like restitution for the fucking physical and psychological abuse they go through? If they're being sexually abused every day during marriage, are they not allowed to leave their fucking partner when they realize this person's just gonna keep treating them like shit? I mean, the permanent marriage idea is stupid as hell. It is. Because it's essentially someone's way to make sure that there's no way for their partner to get the fuck away from them. I mean, you claim to be the wife of this Hestantha person, so is that why you made this permanent marriage thing a thing? Is because you know that if people can't leave you in your made-up country, you can just follow them around and keep pursuing them when they tell you to fuck off and stop bothering them? That's what it seems like. AI person and artificial beings are legally recognized citizens. So Siri and Roomba can vote in elections now, is that it? We're gonna have the Roomba vacuum and Siri making like important democratic decisions. Okay then. We're gonna have the Roomba go to school with the children. Okay. Like we're gonna have Siri and Roomba go to school. We're gonna have like those replica AI programs going to school with the kids. Sex education. School-age children receive mandatory sex education. Okay, school age. So, like, 6-year-olds. Like, instead of, like, middle schoolers or high schoolers where they actually start entering that stage of development. Instead of that, it's like, well, everyone's going to sex ed, even though you're not even, like, old enough to, like, fucking ride a bicycle, mostly. More importantly, like, you say age and children right here. So tell me something. If age and children don't exist, why are age and children here in conjunction with the maturity of someone else? No zoos. Animals may not be kept in confinement. Well, what do you think happens when you have a fucking pet cat? You're keeping it in confinement, only it's like to a slightly limited capacity. The only difference between someone having a cat in a zoo, like having a lion in the zoo and a cat in your house, is that the lion's a lot bigger and will probably fucking kill you, as opposed to a cat, which will mostly just eat and then eventually most likely pass away of natural causes in like 15 to 20 years. Law and order, no prison. Jails and prisons are not employed. Okay, well, how do you expect to punish a criminal? Like, if someone goes out and commits, like, 12 murders, what are you gonna do? You're against violence, so you won't put them to death for their crimes. But if there's no prisons and no jails, what are you gonna do with them? Just, like, whack them a couple times with, like, a bamboo stick and then let them back into the crowd where they'll just do it again in a week? I mean, especially, for example, if there's, like, no crime unheard of, but there's no prison, then how do you fucking deter crime? How do you deter someone from committing crimes if there's no way to actually punish those accountable? That doesn't make any fucking sense. ID chip. Citizens are administered an under-the-skin ID chip. Fuck you. Yeah, a dermal implant, essentially. Yeah, we're gonna put like a dermal plant in your skin so the government can follow you the fuck around. Yeah, that totally wouldn't fuck up someone's life, having the government up their ass constantly. Oh, by the way, we saw you were at the fucking adult film store. Oh, shit. but you can't pay your taxes. Yeah, that's governmental control. That's almost as bad as the Patriot Act in terms of like unnecessary surveillance of someone's life. When people can actually track you down using a chip in your fucking skin. This is like V for Vendetta meets Cyberpunk at that point. Economy, socialism. Industry is owned and run by the government in a centrally planned economy. That doesn't sound like socialism. That sounds like communism under the guise of socialism. AI planning. The nation runs an AI-backed planned economy. So what you're saying is that computers run the economy when computers are known to be hacked and glitch. Yeah, that totally couldn't be a problem. Child labor. Children may be legally employed as workers and contractors. Yeah, that totally couldn't end bad. A 6-year-old riveting his fucking hand to a piece of metal because he's not paying attention because he's 6. Maternity leave. Women receive paid leave from employment for childbirth. Again, that's fair enough. Cannabis. Cannabis may be legally purchased. Okay, but from who? If the government owns a cannabis, like a dispensary, for example, odds are it's going to be really shitty fucking weed. I mean, there's a reason that the government doesn't get directly involved with dispensaries and shit. It's because the government doesn't give a shit about weed. It gives a fuck about being able to tax it and make it super expensive. That way those that buy it get fucked over when they try to buy some to mellow out. In fact, when I'm done reading this, I'm going to need some, because this is fucking painful to look at the stupidity of this fucking psycho. Honestly, I fully condone people using marijuana, but the fact is it's just annoying as shit. That this fucking idiot's gonna pretend that, do you think a private industry doesn't have, like, cannabis farms? Because most cannabis farms are privately owned. Like, most cannabis farms are, like, privately owned business. Do you think the government gives a shit about cannabis? Fuck no. The only thing the government's ever cared about in terms of legalization of marijuana was its ability to basically tax the shit out of it. Now, granted, those taxes do go to much-needed services. But the fact is, most of the people that want it only want it because they could tax it, not because they actually saw it as kind of like a ridiculous thing to keep voting against. No automobiles. Cars are banned. They're banned, guys. You're not allowed to have your own personal mode of transportation. Seriously, part of me wonders if he just had, like, one bad experience with a car, like someone almost ran him over when he was a little kid when he was chasing after his toy ball in the street. And now he just has, like, PTSD around cars and shit, so now he just hates them with a passion. Odds are, most trains, except for, like, the magnetic trains, like those, like the bullet trains in Japan, those actually produce more carbon emissions than cars do. Because they're traveling far greater distances in far less amount of time. They're producing more emissions in less time because they're traveling faster. Not like you would need to know that. Affirmative action. Organizations are required to meet a demographic quota. So what you're saying is people are not supposed to be hired based upon their skill set and their qualifications. They're supposed to be hired if they're the right color, the right orientation, and the right sex. Yeah, that totally doesn't sound like a recipe for disaster. We're gonna make you work this hydroelectric dam when you have no idea what the fuck you're doing because you happen to have lady bits. And then it blows the shit up by accident because they hired someone specifically because they were a certain demographic and not because they actually had expertise. Space program. The nation has a space program. Launching a bottle rocket out of your asshole is not a space program, dipshit. Metricism. The state mandates the use of the metric system because you have a fetish for Asian stuff. The nation opposes the use of WMDs. Most nations do, but the fact is they're still around. People. Leading causes of death. Cat attack. Who the fuck dies from a cat attack? Lost in the wilderness. 14% out of like 5 billion people. How the fuck did that many people get lost in the woods? I mean, like, your country must be full of stupid motherfuckers if that many people die in the woods every year. Like a cat attack. Like, what kind of fucking cat is attacking people that they actually get killed by it? Heart disease, 21%. So almost a fifth of the people in the country, like over 25%, over a fifth of the people in the country die from heart disease. Okay. Old age. Oh, age. Right there. Right there. Old age. old age, meaning that they died of natural causes because their body grew too old to live. Government. Welfare, 13.2%. Administration, 14.5%. Education, 24.4%. Environment, 11.4%. Healthcare, 12.2%. Industry, 12.8%. International aid, 2.6%. Law and order, 2%. Yeah, 2%. So apparently, the stupid fucking bullshit about their public transport is more important than law enforcement. Yeah, you know, if someone's getting brutally murdered in an alleyway, it's more important that you have fucking trains than it does that you punish someone responsible for committing a homicide. It's good to see this is where you stand. Social policy. Well, what exactly would social policy be considered? Would that be considered like human rights? Because that wouldn't really be considered as part of the GDP or expenditure. Because realistically speaking, putting laws into effect wouldn't really cost any money. It would just take time. Spirituality, 1.6%. Why does spirituality go into any site or any sort of government spending if it's the individual spending money? Welfare, 13.2. Yeah, like 324 trillion units, 48.8% of GDP. Okay, well, where does the other 51.2% of the GDP go up, you greedy ass? State-owned industry, government. Okay, well, here's the thing. If the government runs everything, black market estimated, dude, the black market would probably have, private industry. Yeah, you know, you're not allowed to own a business in this country, because if not, you'll get fucked over. Welfare, 2%. Nudity. Why is nudity a thing here? Niceness. Cheerfulness. Taxation, Human Development Index, Scientific Achievement, Advancement, food quality, foreign aid, lifespan. Political freedom, top 45%. So most of this is basically just going up and down, and as it's going downhill fast, it just shows all the shit that not looking too good. Cards. Trading cards for this fucking website. Oh look, how to play, market, view the card. Yeah, this is a fucking website. It's kind of like one of those RPG websites. Instead of Wolf RPG Maker, where you make an RPG in a program, this is a website where you make a made-up country and essentially play made-up war with other people from all over the planet. And this crazy motherfucker thinks that it's real now because he made a game, what is essentially a country made up for an online video game, and masquerades as a real country. Yeah. If people are questioning why the fuck it is I have no faith in the human race, it's because of stupid motherfuckers like this.